Yeah, if you have any questions for us that you want to be particularly addressed, please do put it in the chat and you can just send it to us. That'll be great. And we'll start in just under a second. All right, everybody, a big warm welcome to you. And it's a great privilege to be talking to you all today for your Focus of the Month session. Today, we're going to do a couple things differently. Obviously, you might have seen that on the LMS portal, we already have a recorded webinar which tells you about the things that you should be doing and focusing right now. These sessions that I take right now would be more of live sessions on workshops and other things. The other day, one of my clients had asked me, like, why do you ask? Let me just share the screen very quickly. Someone asked me, right? Like, why do you ask? You guys ask us to like write down your goals or like think more about where we do masters, etc., and all. See, I'll tell you that if you write down your goals, doesn't matter whether it's a personal goal or a career goal or a professional goal. Okay, it doesn't matter under what category it belongs. But if you write it down, there is more probability of you accomplishing it when you write it down rather than when you don't. Okay, a lot of people will say that, oh, I know I'm going to masters, so what's the big deal? Why do you want me to write it down? But the thing is that when you write down your goals, it is very clear about you working towards it. It makes it concrete, and there are a lot of things that get connected in your brain. If you understand about how your creative side can work with your logical side in order to make things happen. And then most importantly, it's not something that you're telling something to yourself and you bring somebody else to keep you accountable, and it helps you focus. So that is the reason why people typically ask, we typically ask students to work on things. Okay. All right. So with that, are you guys ready for today's session? I have something very different today. Honestly, every time that we come here, our aim is we want to make it easier for you. We know that there are so many things that are there. So by the end of the day, somebody told me, hey, it's not very simple. You just have to go to a master's, no? To be very honest, I don't think it's that simple, right? Because it would have been very simple had you it would have been very simple, like, if that's the only thing that we were doing, but it's not. You are also probably going to college, you're probably like looking at placements, you're probably looking at what next to do in life, and a lot of other things are happening for you. So that is where the constant reassurance and as well as like the support is needed. And there are a lot of things, if done well, it would help you or solve a lot of grief for you in the future. So today we are talking about two important activities. One is definitely like gearing up for the applications, and the second one is obviously shortlisting. Okay, I know that by this time, like a lot of people would have said, like, yeah, we should have finished shortlisting by now, and so on. No, yeah. The thing is that sometimes what happens is, yeah, we may not have like finished, and you could have you may not have like even decided your first school or other things and all. So today I want to give you a different approach, and this approach has really worked for a lot of people who were not very clear, and so on and so forth. Okay, so give me a second while I just tell you about a few things and we get started with our session today. I'll have to share my screen once more, but this time it's going to be easier. Promise. All right, so there you go. So today what are we going to do is we are going to look at some of the upcoming deadlines. You'll know a little bit more about things to see why we're looking, but we are mainly going to talk about 2 or 3 things. And I'm going to add the bonus of shortlisting because a lot of my clients have asked for that. Okay, so I won't go too deep into everything. See, this is like I'm giving you the deadlines from last year and the previous year. Now, why do I do that is because so that you can understand that almost every year they have consistently had similar dates. Okay, so for example, USC, you can be like kind of sure that they'll come in December 15th all the time. You know, they don't necessarily change things. Okay, Carnegie Mellon is one which is December 12th and November 15th, you know, for a few programs. Boston is a little late, but doesn't mean that you will have to go by that time because honestly, visa will become a big challenge. All right, so you will see that right from say November 30th to about May. You have all across the spectrum. But at Aspire Higher, we suggest that you finish all of the dates by like January 31st, you know, because that is what will allow you to get the visa. If you don't believe me, I'm going to tell you a couple stories later about my clients who had to like wait for the visa. They couldn't get it. So they had to like postpone it to the next semester. All right. So that is what I would say as far as the dates are concerned and so on. A lot of, you know, some people argue like engineering management, is it not easier earlier and all? Please know that engineering management almost has a common kind of a timeline around January 15th. Many of the universities have it around that time. And if you're looking at even other countries, no, it's not too far away. Don't get fooled by Canada telling that, hey, you can come in and apply at, you know, April and all. No, don't get fooled by that date. You have to apply earlier if you want that admit. As simple as that. So the deadline for you guys that you should be keeping in mind is January 31st, 2024. You should have submitted all the applications if you want a smooth visa process. Okay, because there are a lot of things that come afterwards and you don't want to waste your time. Okay, that's something that that is there. See, where are you right now? You might be, I know that I spoke to a lot of my clients and all of you are somewhere in the taking GRE stage and the shortlisting stage. You're kind of stuck here. Okay, that's why like all these other things that come later, no, are kind of like, you know, coming to the later stage, which will happen in August and September for many of you. But many of you are kind of finding it a little bit here. So today I'm going to focus a little bit more on that thing. So many people ask us, hey, how do you guys work with the application process and what happens? I'm going to show you the application process from last year so that you can plan it and you will be ready for it when we release it this year, right? So we're going to release it this year in July 22nd, next week from now. So you will see what it is. It's not too different. You will have to shortlist your schools, complete your tests, gather it, right? September to December is when your application portal will open. That means that as soon as it opens, you can fill the applications, you can like submit the essays, LORs, you will pay the application fee, blah, 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 everything. Okay, and then this is a timeline when you will get the results. Some of the results will come earlier. If you apply earlier, you'll get earlier. Some of them will take a longer time, of course, is there, but 100% of the time you'll get the results between March and April, except if you're applying to Germany, which works on a little bit of a different timeline. Then, of course, you will work on the post application in terms of what's needed. And then, of course, is the like, you know, starting the grad school later on. So this is like a timeline process for a little earlier, no, for last year, no. So this year, what happens? It will be everything will be 4, and then it will become 5. That's it. Nothing else changes. See, I have been doing this business for a long time, and I have to tell you that one thing that doesn't change as much even during COVID, you guys will be like very surprised, was the deadlines. So even during COVID, what happened was people would be like, you know, deadline will be like, yeah, we'll give you a little bit of extension, but we're going to keep the same deadlines. Okay, so because the application process, the application world, everything, no, it's a little long bureaucratic process, especially in countries like Canada, Germany, France, my God. Don't even get me started on France. There is tons of paperwork that will be needed for it. Give me a minute here, 1 minute. Okay. So moving on to the next one. We all know what is needed for application documents. Okay, because I've been telling you from day one that this is what is needed. So what is going to be the challenge? The challenge is a lot if you don't have your scores. A lot if you don't have your CV. Okay. But these are all easily fixable, guys. And that's exactly what I encourage you to do. Please be aware of what's coming. Don't come to me in September and tell me, oh, Kritika, you never told us that this is what is needed. No, when you go to the LMS portal right from day one, you have all these things and we keep telling you that you have to do all this. Okay. So that's pretty much about it. I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between a transcript and a mark sheet. Everybody has a mark sheet. Only few people will have transcripts. The reason for that is because you have to apply for it in your college. So you typically will apply in your administrative office, your registrar's office, your academic office, whatever they call it. And it will come in a sealed and signed envelope. Okay. And it will not only show just the mark, right? It will show the marks for all semesters and everything that you've taken in the college, along with what we call is the grade conversion plus the equivalent. Okay, think of it this way. It's like your college telling the graduate school that I certify this so-and-so person, and I think this person is eligible for applying to your program, and here are this person's, this applicant's transcripts and all the things they've done in our college. So this is like a college to college document. All right. Now, what is the difference? Let's show it with an example. It will come from the seal and the sign. This is a US wala thing. And you guys can also see it will have like a seal, it will have a date, it will have like all the grade system and everything. It will be consolidated. Everything will be there. So in India, it is typically called as consolidated mark sheet. This comes only after you graduate, right? Obviously. But for the purpose of masters, you will say it earlier. Everybody gets a mark sheet like this, no? So this is like a semester mark sheet, the regular thing and all. It need not, and sometimes will not even see. This guy doesn't even tell us like what is all this section and paper and all. Okay, but look here they tell very clearly it is like business organization and such degree, such credits, and this person has got so much and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's why we need a transcript. Transcript is like a document. You have to apply for the transcript in August or September, depending on whenever your sixth semester, or for some guys, some of the people, 7th semester results come out. Okay, a lot of the people get transcript by August, September. Okay, and some people get it in October. I know some people have backlogs, so you guys will get it in November or so, or even later. I know a couple people who are getting their backlogs sorted only by January. So whenever you are getting your academic transcripts or results is when you will get your transcripts. Okay, I'm going to stop the share for a second. And see, can you guys quickly do this thing for me? Can you go and find out what is the link to order a transcript in your college quickly? Typically, it will be available in a portal. If you're graduated from college, they'll have like something outside of the portal and all that. So can you guys quickly do that for me? And probably like share it in the chat with me, like the place where you order for your transcripts. Is it a big deal to get a transcript? Not really, guys, because this is how the rest of the world functions. But it's a little different in India, right? See, in India, we have less flexibility of the courses that we can take. At least like when I was taking, and then I see you guys, you can only take so many electives and all, right? But abroad, no. So for my master's, I took Spanish, I took piano, then I took like a couple courses from the business school always, which is probably why I'm doing what I do now. Okay, because it gave me an exposure to the business world. I got a minor in marketing from the Ross School of Business. All right, so it was really fun, master's. Now, even in my undergrad, we did have some professors who would allow us to sit in their classes and all. That was nice, but I don't see that happening for you guys, right? And I'm not sure if you guys are having enough professors whom you're very excited about. Okay, so are you guys like looking at the are you looking at the transcript? Yes, excellent. So I'm going to just show one because someone has just sent it to me. Excellent. Thank you so much. So great. I'm picking the first college that someone sent me. Excellent. There's another person who sent me as well. Thanks. Thanks, folks. Now, this is what they sent me. They said, look, here's the transcript. And then they said like, yeah, this is one for requesting the transcript attested copies, duplicate certificate, blah, 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 and blah, 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 and all of it. So typically you can do this and you can get in and everything else. And you have to note one thing, meaning it might take a long time. As far as we know, these days things are much faster. But I also have to like tell you that it wasn't the case when I was doing. See, for me, it took about easily about they took easily about like I think 4 weeks or something during our times. That was like late. So in you guys, like you can just get it so fast. You know, there's a talk of the digital transcript happening for a long time. I still have not seen that completely in India. I've seen a couple happening for the college space that I'm in. I work with college students also, like students who go to college in the US. So I've seen that happen for them. All right. So are we clear about the transcripts? Excellent. Thank you so much. So a couple of you have put it. And one more thing. It says 400 rupees to apply. Is it normal? Yeah, I would say your college is cheap actually. It's not too bad. There are colleges which charge you much more. So in our days, it was much cheaper. We didn't pay, I think. We didn't pay so much. But yeah, like I know colleges which charge you around 1,500 per transcript. I know. Yeah. So that's a way to make more money. Okay, super. Great. Thanks for the question. So you all know what to do about this. Okay, I have to tell you this. This is the number one reason why people cannot get into the programs that they want to get in. Look at this and tell me, like, are you guys anticipating having any such problem? Okay, it's a very, it's a different way of asking you, like, please don't do this, right? Okay, but are you anticipating any such problems? Example is like last minute preparation for the school, not knowing where to apply and all that. This is like a painful thing. Don't do this. Okay, that's why we are like here sitting in July, thinking about where we'll apply in September and all. Yeah. Okay, taking GRE TOEFL in the last moment. I don't know why people shoot themselves in the foot, but this happens. Working on application only in the last 2 weeks. I had to tell you one thing. The grad school application is not like anything that you might have done in India before. And I want to emphasize in India before. India has hard things. I'm not saying it's easy to live in India. India has hard things. Nobody else in the world can take IIT, JEE, and NEET and things like that, honestly. But what I mean is, we don't have a process like how we work towards grad school application in India. That's what I mean. You know, I'm not putting down a system versus another, but what I'm trying to say is we are not exposed to such a process. Okay, so do not even think that, oh, I can do things last moment. See, because in India, what happens most of the times you just have to take a test. And I know super, super, super smart people who can just take a test and then go. But unfortunately, this is not like that. This process is not like that. You might be the clever person, the strongest, smartest person and all, but you will still not get in, because there may not be things that you're doing on time. Example, I had a super, I still remember this person after so long. She went to her recommender at the last moment. The recommender was pissed off at her. And the recommender gave a bad recommendation letter to her. Right? And that was one of the reasons she didn't get into some of the top schools. And there were a couple schools, to which she had not used this recommender. That is how she came to, and she got into those. That's where she went later on. All right. So this happened in a very top school because professors can be somewhat, they need their respect and time, right, to help you. So I can't emphasize this enough. Okay. I'm not going to delve too much into essays because we already did a writing workshop for essays before. But I'm going to do something a little different today so that you will have another approach to things. Okay. So we will come to this kind of essays a little later as well. But, we're going to do something different, The idea here is somebody was asking, hey, you're making us write so much. But I saw, there was another consultancy to which my friend went and they don't do anything. They do all the writing. Why do you make me do this? Okay. And this was a very genuine question. I thought, honestly, why don't we answer this? So the thing is that we don't write enough as engineers. One of the things I realized in grad school is they would want you to think more about observations. They don't want you to spit out formulae. Okay, they're not going to say that, okay, draw me a graph or plot me a graph like this, that. They would want you to interpret the plot and as a result, tweak the design or whatever you're doing as an engineer in order to see what happens. Now, you cannot be an engineer, you could be somebody else, you could come from a humanities field or whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever project you're working, whatever thing you're studying, they will want you to have an understanding of what's needed there. So our endeavor is to help you prep for that. Okay, we are actually helping you prep for grad school. And I mean, that we're doing because you have to do the essays anyway, that way. Now, see, this particular thing, no, is a very easy peasy way. It's like this. The easiest thing I tell people is like, if you want to build a 3-tier cake, right? What you'll do is like, you'll build it separately first, you know, and then only it'll become like easy, right? So now I want to do this, but then I want to turn this into a dog. Okay, then what can I do? Then I'll probably put a fondant and all that over top of it and carve it into a dog or whatever in whichever shape we want, right? That's exactly the aim of the essay questionnaire. So the moment you're able to access all the essay questionnaire and write, you can use this in your essay later. And of course, so I can't use it directly. Suppose I want to make a dog-shaped cake and I don't know how I'll do it, but okay, so let's say that this becomes the snout of the dog, right? And this is the eye of the dog, and this is the ear of the dog, or whatever. All right, so that becomes easy for you to do, right? With this. So you can do this, and then you can do this, and maybe you carve a tail out of this, and so on, right? I know. I'm in the mood for something funny. Hey, it's like Saturday, guys, and I had a super long week because we have already started applications for college and MBA. But anyway, suppose I want to make a cake like this, you know, which is a very funny looking thing. I could still use the base, and that exactly is the aim. If you know what are the top 3 achievements that you've done in your life, it is very easy for you to use that in your essay to convince the AdCom that you are a good student and you are somebody capable of the research and analytical skills and everything else that you need in order to succeed in the program. Okay, so that is the endeavor. That is the aim. So we're not probably going to make a cake today, but you have to look at the essay questionnaire as a way of truly understanding how to get a structure. You know, as I showed you like very nicely here, you need a structure for an essay. And the structure is made of different parts. And the parts can come from various different sources. So this is just your way of organizing the ideas, which is very important. More importantly, to reflect on the ideas. You won't get this chance later on. Okay. These days, I work with a lot of candidates in the US. You might be wondering, okay, what? Yeah. How do I do that is because, see, a lot of Indians go from here to the US. And of course, they didn't work with me before, but they find me through other sources. And they say that, hey, look, I'm in a job and H1B is there and all this is a problem. Now I want to get an MBA and then, you know, try to jump the ladder. So I need help for that. Okay. And some of them would have gone to what we call as lower rank schools. All right. And as a result of that, they want to now get to a better school and that's how they will grow in the careers. See, you have to you have to understand one thing. Don't think that, oh, masters I do and I'm done for life. No, it never happens like that. Later on, you'll do an MBA or an MEM, or you will do what we call as something as an equivalent. Okay, you cannot grow as a leader otherwise. So what you have to think about is the reflection is very key to your essay writing process. Okay, and see, we are also engineers by heart. Okay, we don't want you to keep on working 1,000 times and 1,000 hours on it. We'll be very honest. We want you to come up with an efficient way of working and of course to write. A lot of you don't write. That's what I heard. And one of the persons yesterday, you know, taught me a new way of using Gen AI, which I want to try and then of course share with you a little later. So it was really funny to see how they used, you know, they used writing from, they just picked like some 3 or 4 different, what do you call it, quotes and are like authors, book authors and all that. And, you know, they just showed like a very nice way of organizing that into an HBR article. So it was really interesting. You know, I don't think I will do it that way, but it was really interesting to see what we can glean away from it. But yeah, guys, like, see, you have to know that you have to write a little bit in order to help and so on. But the most importantly, this is what is needed for the grad school application. Okay, so that is what we mean by this. When you look at any essay in the world, they will have the same questions. Why are you coming to us? Like example, why do you want to study this? Okay. And then what do you have already? Okay. And then what are your goals? Everybody will ask you this, but they will ask you in different forms. I like to go back to my analogy of the bakery and tell you that, hey, like the bakery, they might ask you to give me a red velvet cake or a dog cake or a cat cake or whatever, but at the end of it, it's going to be some animal or something. Okay. That's what you'll have to think about. Everybody will ask you professional goals, research experience, give me your academics, do you want a thesis, blah, blah, blah. Everybody. Okay. And that's exactly where this whole writing and the essay questionnaire and all comes in. Okay. So this is where I would like to stop regarding the envisioning the essay. I want to ask you, what are your challenges with thinking about the school right now? Or are you guys not even there? Like you're not even thinking about the essays or SOPs right now? Quickly put it in the chat. What do you think? What are some challenges that you're facing with when I say write an SOP or an essay? Or see, for example, if I say answer this question for Arizona State University, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing? All right, I guess I can see some of you are typing. Super. One of them is saying, I have not gone there. I'm still stuck in GRE. I agree, guys. It's fine. And one of you was saying, like, hey, I'm so like, I came here, but I'm like not even started the whole process. That's okay. When you reach the process, you will know what to do, right? So that's fine. So that's valid. It's fine. When you get here, you know how to get here, but the sooner you get here, the better it is for you. Excellent. So we're moving into, there's no shame to admit that you've not reached there. That's fine. But please know that you have to get there. See, the easiest analogy that I tell people is know that you have to make the dog sometime or the other. So keep imagining the dog, like what you want to do, what kind of courses you want to take, etc. So today I want to make this into an interactive session for the shortlisting and try a very different approach for which I need your cooperation, everybody. So can you tell me, like, do you know, and see again, like you will see that this kind of a thing in TAMU, in UCLA, in everybody, right? They tell you about what are the challenges, like they ask you other questions also. Okay. So this is, you should know that these kind of questions are coming your way. And of course, you have this kind of webinar to help you for it. Excellent. So let's move ahead to the shortlisting, and I want to use this one. See, I was updating my slides for today's session, and I have to tell you that even after 1 year of all of this coming, right, many of the universities have been like kind of like they're just very cautious and looking at things. They're just saying that individual instructors will decide, etc., etc. Okay, so they're just like talking about it this way, you know, and they don't have like a particular stance, or let's say a unified stance on AI. So which is what is like something that you have to understand. For example, Northwestern, it is banned by default. That means that if you're using, let's say, SOP, you created SOP using AI for say Columbia, okay, or Chicago, and you're applying to Northwestern using that, in all probability, you might be flagged for plagiarism or AI use, etc., and so on. Okay, that is exactly why still it is in your best interest to not use AI, and be very clear that people don't want to use it for like this kind of a thing. Okay, but I'm going to break my own rule and tell you when can you use AI, and that's only for the research aspect. Okay, so coming to the other important part, let me just stop share here and show you something else, which I'm very, very happy about. Okay, I want you guys to now please work with me on this. Do you know where your dream school is located, everybody? Can you just say yes and give me your dream school in which you want to go? Quickly, please. Everybody, please cooperate. I would love to see answers from you. Excellent. So I'm getting Stanford. Okay, well done. Someone says not yet. Why not? Okay, that's what we're going to sort today in terms of shortlisting. I would have obviously have given you a very, what do you call it, as comprehensive plan of shortlisting. And we saw this last time. We have a 7-step plan. We say we will send you things. I also showed you case studies. Okay, let me share that with you here. So if you go to your LMS portal, and this is for the benefit of those who have not gotten yet, okay, you would have a lot of courses, or may not have, you have one course. Okay, so you would have a lot of courses like this, and you go into the course. Okay, when you go into the course, you are going to see all these things. So if you look at the shortlisting, so we came last month, and we did so many of these sessions. So we said how to do the school research, how to do the case studies, how to do the essay prep, how can you do the funding, how can you research more, how can you do the career goals. So you have all these webinars. Okay. Now, in addition to that, you also have this webinar where I tell you about the complete process. Okay. So if you don't want to wait for us, we have this whole webinar which tells you about how to shortlist, how to finance, how to find out, blah, 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 and so on. Okay. So you have all these resources to help you. But let's say this, oh my God, Kritika, like I've done all this, but I still don't know where to go. I'm going to give you a very different approach, and I want you to do this with me right now. So look at my screen. Okay. I want to take a piece of paper and pen, or your computer or your mobile, whichever you have, it's fine. Something to write on. All right. Now, see, I'm going to use the US as an example. Why? Because US has the maximum number of applicants for us. And also, it is the maximum number of colleges. So it only makes sense that it is US. Okay, so we're going to show that how to make a decision in a crowded place like US, so that it becomes very easy for you to do it for Germany or others also. I will also show a little bit for Germany and others. Okay, so we are going to summon the search gods for this, and I'm also going to give you a couple tools for this, which will make it very easy for you. Okay, now see, when you're in the United States, you might have seen this like university. So I'm going to show you very quickly. It's a nice tool that I use for my college students, actually. It's called niche.com, and I use it for my college students mostly. I don't use it for grad schools, but why not? You can even try it. It is not that, it's not that great for grad schools, but I'm going to show you a feature which will be very helpful for you guys. Okay. So it's called the view on map. And when you go to the view on map, by the way, it's niche.com, niche.com. All right. So when you go here, you're automatically able to see the various different universities that exist. Okay, so like example, Northwestern, that is U Chicago over there. This is obviously Ann Arbor, okay, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, Carnegie Mellon, Georgetown, Princeton, Yale, etc., etc. Now, how can I use this particular tool? What I can do is this is the whole school in America. I can now say, hey, I'm going to look at Alabama, for example. All right, so in the state of Alabama, tell me all the universities that exist. So then you get a lot of these universities, okay? And then you can even say, I want only a public university. I don't want a private university. So accordingly, what can happen? It becomes easy. Now, see, private also is for profit, not for profit and all that, okay? See, private universities really cost an arm and a leg. You will see MIT is an example, Caltech, Stanford, all of them are very expensive. But public universities are not any cheap also. Michigan is also very expensive, okay? But a lot of people might say, look, I'll only go to public schools. I don't want private schools. So the moment you do that, some of them already went away. Okay. right? See, we only have 14, but now look. So when I bring all the public schools, I have 20, 31 universities and all that. Okay. So now what is the feature that I recommend you guys to use it? Go and see it on a map. Do it on a visual map. And then you see that this is like some random college. I don't think you want to go study here. I'm not saying it's bad, but I don't know, like, I don't know what you're going to do in College of Osteopathic Medicine if you want to do computer science, right? So, but I will tell you, Auburn is a well-known institution, really respected. And in fact, I had a lot of professors from Auburn University who would publish vehicle dynamics, research. It was really nice. Okay. Now, see, which are the top universities that you'll know here is not all of these guys. No, these are all like what we call as Toto players. But who are the big guys? It is Alabama, Birmingham. Okay. And they have a lot of campuses. You will see. And then the University of Alabama. These are the two big names in that particular college. Okay. Sorry, in this particular state. Oh, this one. And of course, you have Huntsville also. A lot of people try going there. But let's go back here to Nish and then ask them about the program. So you can also get a little bit of understanding about the program through here. All right. So the other way that you can do is I will just go to Google here or my Bing, which is whichever you guys want to use. And then you just put like universities in Alabama. Very simple. Okay. Now, wait a minute. If you say like, hey, I've already done this. Wait a minute. Let me just tell you like what I mean. So when you look at this, of course, Wiki is a good place to get started, right? But this is very less, right? But see, for example, for some of the others, you would get a lot more colleges automatically, okay? See, 1 minute. Sometimes it depends on the search, but you can always find it out. And you get like a whole list of programs that are available in, say, US News or other things. But, the Google, I don't know why is not helping me right now. Wait a minute. Oops. Let's look at what's happening with it. How come Google is not responding? But see, typically, Google, you know what? Wait, let me see. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. And I just want to show you both times. When you're doing it like this, it's going to come up like this. That's what I mean, right? So in some select places, Google will come up with this kind of a thing. New York obviously has the highest number of universities. So California, New York, okay, those regions are the ones that get the highest number of universities. You can also do a quick search like this. Definitely go to Wiki in order to get like a good idea of like all of it that is available. But I like niche.com for the visual representation. Now you might say, hey, I don't want to go to like Alabama. Let me go to California. Then of course I can go to California. I can fix my, what do you call it, as college type and everything else. I can also say I don't want any kind of religious affiliation and blah, 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 or I want it, etc., etc. And then you can also easily find it on the map to get a sense of like where are all these universities and what's happening. Okay, that's the first step. Okay, but see, what's the aim for us? The aim is that we are going to go and live in one of these 51 states in the US. But I've not listed all of the 51 because only a few of them will have the good universities. Our aim will be to get into the #1 university in that place, right? And sometimes you will argue like, hey, Kritika, like Massachusetts MIT is one. Where is Harvard? No, yeah. So some places like Massachusetts have many universities, right? But and California as an example, California, New York, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota not so much. So when you go to Minnesota here, you will see, and even Nevada, not so much. Because Nevada is a desert. What will you do in the desert, right? I mean, there is only a couple universities there, but it's for the domestic people. So the aim is that whenever you're going, you want to get into the top program in that place. Like in India, think about it. Suppose you have to go to an engineering college in India, okay, and it's not by the cutoff. Then you will obviously pick one of the top engineering colleges and then the next stop in that state. Okay, and the next stop in the state, right? That's the aim. Okay, so that's what we say that we can do. And one easy way for you to do this is this. Let's go and pick Minnesota. because I want to show you that not every state is equal. Like I already showed you for Alabama, right? See, Minnesota Twin Cities is one of the best nationwide ranked universities. It's really nice. But Minnesota Tulak is not something that's great. Okay, I don't see, you can see the number of reviews or something else and all. No, not so good. Okay, I have not heard of somebody going to Winona State University and all. But when you come here and see, this will be still available in this place. Okay, these names are not recognizable in India. So why will you go to some random place which people don't know? Okay. On the other hand, Mississippi. Mississippi does have like University of, Mississippi is really, really famous, and Mississippi State is famous. Okay. So you have something called as, you can obviously go here. Guys, are you with me so far? Is this like making any sense at all whatsoever? Are you guys with me so far? Okay. Now I'll tell you, nobody goes to Mississippi other than, Mark Twain was talking about it a lot and everything, but not everybody lives there because of this reason. Look at all the names and different ones and all. It's all community colleges that are there. Okay. So community colleges are the ones that they're known for. So the big colleges that you see, so which will be the big colleges are limited. Okay, so now these are colleges that are there for their people and what we call as domestic people and all that. So it's not as prestigious as what you see in India, right? So that is what you will have to keep in mind. So don't just go blindly by what some random ranking is telling. That's why I told you about the ranking in US News, QS and all. We have given you a lot of material, no, about all the different ranks and everything else. So that's why we don't want you to do that. Okay, and this is another way. So this particular one is for anybody who says, I don't know where to go, like which states to pick, what to do. Okay, so that's where I say, pick your state. Okay, how do we work with our clients is, I had my clients come and say, I'm not going to Alaska or Alabama, right? But they say, oh, I'm okay with Arizona. So let's say that, they pick Arizona State University. Well done. Then they say, I pick definitely California is okay for me. But I have a lot of people who say, I don't want to go to California because it's so freaking expensive. So yeah, but California has so many different, this one, no? So when you look at my sheet, I'll show you that California has so many different rankings that are available. When you look at Texas, under the UD system, you have so many. California has two systems. One is the UC system, which is the University of California with 9 different locations. Another one is a California state, which has a lot of things. Okay, so what we tell people is, we say, pick the schools that you're really wanting to go or the states that you want to be in. Okay, and how can I say that is over here? So if I just look, instead of putting the state, I just say in America, tell me like what is the biggest thing in the world. I can see easily what are the top programs in each of the places, right? Now you might see, Montana was really not much. We didn't have too many going on here, or Idaho for the matter. Or Wyoming. These are all beautiful places to go see your, all the geysers and everything else. You do have the famous one, no? And all that. These are all very good for nature, but not for going and studying. Okay. So a lot of people don't like prefer all these kind of, see how my mouse is moving. I hope that is visible. Are you seeing my mouse moving or no? Oops. Are you guys seeing my mouse moving? Yes, I think so. Yeah. So here and all, not a lot of people go, but a lot of Utah is one of the, see, if I have to go settle down somewhere, no, I would love Utah for the nature, but I may not go and study in University of Utah, is what I'm trying to say. These are all beautiful states, but not a lot of people are going to go and live there. Okay, so which is where you have to be very clear about where are all the universities concentrated in the US. Okay, and in Germany. See, Germany, I don't know if you guys remember, had a big problem, no? They had East Germany and West Germany for the longest time. And the Berlin Wall was there, which was dividing the country. So whichever was helped by the west side of Germany was very like, obviously the west versus the east kind of philosophy, right? So Germany, again, you will see this kind of pattern, and we talked about it in the study abroad session. All right, sorry. Okay, so that is what we mean by knowing which state you're going and making a what you call it as a calculated decision. So that is also one way to easily arrive at the decision. I'm also going to tell you one thing. Most of us may not be eligible for the top one or even top two universities in that particular college. Okay. See, when I do top two, I automatically are eliminating almost like 47 into 2, right? Those many universities are already taken into account. Okay, 94 universities are there. All right. Now, most of us want to get into the top ones. But what if I can't get into, say, for example, Massachusetts? In Massachusetts, I may not get into MIT and Harvard, both, both are very tough. I cannot even get into Tufts, because Tufts also is very, difficult for many people. So what about California, where you have Stanford and Berkeley and Davis and San Diego State and all of it? I may not even get into the top 3, 4, 5. All right. What about some other universities like this? I'm sorry, I think you didn't hear me, but I wasn't speaking. Sorry about that. But anyway, coming back to this, what I want to say is many of us may not get into the top 2 universities in that state. And if you look at my, particular universities here, I have picked the top ones. Okay. But some of you will say, hey, look, Stanford is a private school. I don't want to go there. And I will also agree, because if you're going and studying analytical engineering in Stanford, you're possibly going to be paying close to 1.5 crore or more. Okay. Whereas if you go to like another university, let's say California State University, it will be much like Long Beach or something. It's going to be cheaper there. Correct? Okay. So I want to hear what do you guys think? Because this is for people who don't know what to do. All right. Somebody says, can you tell me about Colorado? See, Colorado has only few. Boulder has another campus in Denver. Okay. UC Boulder is the best one over there. So UC Denver is also there. Other than that, it really doesn't have all the others. I would say that you are better off going to, like, say, in New York, right? New York has so many. You are better off, and I'm going to show you New York, because it's really fun, but it's also important. New York has so many different universities that are really, really nice. The state. Okay, so you have so many of those universities. Like a SUNY Binghamton would be a much more higher ranked university than a Colorado State. A University of Buffalo SUNY would be much better than a Colorado State. Look at New York. Even though it is like really, really, comparatively speaking, this New York City is tiny, but it has so many of the state, universities that are there. Obviously, your Columbia and NYU and all of them. Okay, but you also have CUNY and you have Fordham. Okay, you have like all those other Baruch, right, college and all of it. So all of those colleges and everything else also is there. Okay, so this is another approach to arriving at your set of universities. I'll be very honest, I have not sent anybody to Montana, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire also. Nobody has gone. Okay, like I'm picking the ones where my people typically go. They all go to these ones. That doesn't mean that you can't go anywhere you want. Okay, so I'm just saying that these are the places where my students typically go. All right, so you can obviously pick all the others. And Florida also not so much. I hope that you guys have been hearing about the hurricane and all that. I have friends there. So yes. So you have to keep in mind what is the logic behind where you're going. Okay, so here's something for the German guys, right? See, just do this. German universities, and you can just do it in the east and west, and you will see the difference. Okay, the very first time, and we also talk about this in our study abroad series. So go to the course here and look at your study abroad series, where the country specific series. I tell you all the things I'm mentioning right now about Germany, east, west, where to go, what are the kind of like universities and the places and all that. Okay, so 1 minute, I'll show you exactly where I mentioned so that you can go to that particular point and then like look at it as well. Okay, so while that is opening, give me a second. I'm going to pick here 1 minute. Courses are so special. So we talk about we talk
Germany
about
has
the
a lot of,
highlights. We talk about like what's required. We talk about like what's the kind of study day in the life of. Do you need to know German? What are the resources that you have? Okay. We talk about the application and how you should go there. And we also talk about like, the different courses that are available and the different places. Example, ESMT Berlin versus TU Munich, the TU9, etc., etc. Okay. But for the sake of other people who are there in the conversation, I'm going to show you the German East-West. All right. This is so simple. You don't have to do too many things in life, okay, to figure out a list of universities. Getting a list of universities is never the problem. All right. It is about deciding whether you want to go and study there or not. All right. See, the interesting thing about Freiburg is the university is very modern. The rest of the place is very ancient. And it's so fun to look at that. So you don't have too many universities at all. Look here. Yeah. When you look at the top ones, and when you look at it like this one, you will see that there are more universities towards the western side, which are much more developed than the eastern side. Okay. Another way to look at it is like, let's go for images. And let's see, oh no, they're showing images of the university, sorry. Let's go for the German universities in that, maybe. And you can see that if you don't think I'm telling you the truth, look at this. This is something that is given by the respective places, and you'll always see there are more towards the west versus the east. Okay. And that's why, here there'll not be too many. I hope you can see this one. So when in these things, right, you won't have too many of them. That's where you go to all of these ones as well. All right. Excellent. So I really hope that you use this kind of a tool and an approach to figure out where to go. And even like these days, people are very finicky because they already have a lot of relatives in the US, elsewhere, and all. So whatever I'm coloring is where a lot of people want to go. Vanderbilt is amazing for its beautiful university campus. Nashville is there. Taylor Swift is there. No, but I know a lot of people who say, no, I don't want to go to some random Tennessee. I don't want to go there. It's Southern. Texas has a lot of yes and no's from me. People who swear by it, people will say, I'll never step into Texas. So I have both. Utah is where I would probably go and stay. It is really good. University of Utah is not bad, but I don't have too many people going there for studying, but tons of people going there for visiting. If you have a chance in life in the US, you have to go to Utah and visit all the canyon, the Grand Canyon and everything. Sorry, the Canyonland Park, the Zion National Park. Okay, the Bryce Canyon, one of the most unforgettable trips of my life, I would say. So you have to go there. You can go and visit. Vermont also amazingly beautiful, but not for studying. So you have to understand that. But then there is a logic. I did have one guy who went to this one, Alabama Huntsville. You know why? Because he had a GPA of 2.4, and that was the only university that was willing to accept him. and he was okay with it. He has done extremely well for himself in his life right now. So, and there was another guy like whom we met in Michigan. He was a friend of a friend, and we had all gone for a tour and all that. So we had met that person. He went to Central Michigan State, and then another friend of his went to Grand Valley State University. You know why? He said there were lesser Indians there. I wanted to go to a place where there were lesser Indians. So you might have a different reason if you want to go to some other places, but majority of the time in the US, a lot of the people prefer these kind of places versus the other ones that I showed you, like other states. Now the rest of the states are just for like definitely for fun and visits, but not for going and studying. Okay, so I hope that you can do. Somebody is asking, can you do for Canada? See, can you do for Canada? Super simple. Just put Canada universities by map and then see like where are the maximum number of the ones that are available. Okay, so you will see that it is definitely around this belt, because I have to tell you that Canada is one of the coldest places in the world, and you really don't want to go there unless you're really prepared for it. So my friend was from Winnipeg, and he was the only guy. He was a Sri Lankan by earlier, his parents were from Sri Lanka, but he had moved to Canada when he was very young. So he's all Canadian for all practical purposes. So he was from like Winnipeg, that side. He would say that there's nothing there on that side. There's nothing there. So most of the things that you will see are here. And even if you see like big states and all that, there's really nothing out there in Canada. So you have to like be very clear about what is it that you're getting into and not just randomly go, and Toronto is so crowded that yeah, it is really crowded that people are really very concerned about it and so on. Okay, what about Australia? Why don't we do the same exercise? Come on, let's do it. Australia, universities by map. Australia is one of the least populated continents of the world. And I was just speaking to one of my friends from Sydney. He had moved from Berkeley, United States to Sydney. And he was telling me how Sydney was even more expensive than Berkeley. Okay, so most of my people go to Victoria, New South Wales, definitely, and Queensland. That's where they go. Now, don't ask me why they don't go anywhere else. It's what they like. Okay, so that is in like Pinterest, I believe. No worries. Let's look at here. So this is also. So you will see that the maximum places are elsewhere. See, by the way, all of this is available in our own webinars, but this is a workshop, right? So I want to tell you something new. So you will see that obviously most of the people are populated here. Nobody goes to like Western and South Australia. And the distance between Perth and Adelaide is really long. If you don't believe me, look at this. Perth to Adelaide. What is the people literally takes like long 28 hours, It's a long thing, it is like 2,692 kilometers. So it's not this one. And the reason I tell it, is because one of my clients came and said the other day, and this was for the US, I'm going to bring the US map back. So let's look at our US, 1 minute. Let's look at our America here and look at the map. One of my clients in the early days, they said that their, what do you call it as, their relatives were in Dallas, okay, and they wanted to study in Houston and then commute. It's like, are you guys, you know, right, how it is. Okay, that's what I mean. See, how does it matter? They said that they're picking Houston because their relatives are in Dallas. Okay, now I know that this might be a joke and you guys are much more smarter, but what I'm saying is people pick some random location, but location matters a lot. If you decide to go to Darwin, there's literally nothing there. Nobody does that. Please don't be the person doing it. A lot of our people go only to, as I said, Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland. These are the most common, the provinces of Australia, right? In which our students go. And honestly, they don't go beyond the number 1, number 2. All right. So because they want to be in Melbourne, Canberra, Sydney, all right, that's where they want to be. Okay, a few in Adelaide, but mostly these other areas. So today, what did you learn? I hope that, yeah. So one of the friends is saying like, yeah, I have relatives in USA who are not in New York and all. Should I ignore these places? Not really. It really is up to you. Be very sensitive and sensible about where the jobs are, where the top universities are. Already, like, through this measure, you have a what we call as a 94 universities something, 95 universities. How many more universities you want? It's not a question of more universities. It's a question of deciding what you want. Okay, niche is a good thing. It's a good tool to use. There are many other, many other sites that are used for my undergrad college applications. You might say, then why are you not sharing with us? No, it is for college. But if you want, you can also look at it in order to take a decision between two schools. Example, you can take it to decide between. See, this is not the parchment. See, when I say parchment, let's say UIC versus. See, for example, you don't know the difference between University of Illinois Chicago versus University of Chicago. Let's say, okay. Now let me put versus University of Chicago. Not UIUC, UIC. UIC is University of Illinois Chicago, and this one is University of Illinois Chicago. Sorry, University of Chicago, my bad. So when you go here, you can compare the colleges. So there are tools like this that are available. I'm sure you guys are very smart enough to find tools like this as well. For example, University of Southern California versus University of Illinois at Chicago. So I can always find and then find like, how many of the people choose University of Southern California if you have to go. Now, if I go and change it here, I will say University of Chicago, which is very different than, okay, University of Illinois at Chicago, right? Are you seeing the screen? Suppose I submit it, then I will get an idea saying that, oops, what's happening? Sometimes this can also happen. You can see everything in its glory. And this is the thing about research. You have to look for what you want. And I hope it submits this time. Yeah, there we go. People say that when University of Chicago is compared to University of Illinois at Chicago, half the time people choose the, oops. Yeah. Oh no. I'm sorry guys, what's happening? I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm going to take University of Arizona versus Arizona State because it doesn't seem to be like liking the thing I told. They say that like a lot of people choose Arizona State University. So you might think, oh, State University is lesser or something. No, that's what I'm trying to say. Go and deep dive into the program and look for what you want. Only then you'll be able to figure out. And that's pretty much what I had for shortlisting. So I want to summarize quickly as to what we saw. You can go and look at the region and you can look at the top 2, top 3, etc. We're going to also populate this particular document for you so that you also have this handy. But look at the, what you call it as the regions that you're open to and the reasons why you want to go there. Use a tool like niche.com, which can show you the things on map and give you a visual representation of what's available. Definitely use Wikipedia. It has tons of things, but honestly, like, why will you go to a Mississippi Valley State University? I don't know. Yeah. So you should know the reason for it. If you really want to go there and you think it's valid and it's nice, then you should have a reason for it. But when it comes to reputation, branding, ranking, whatever, this may not be heard of. So be very clear about why you want to go. We are not going to judge you. Now, this particular logic works even for Australia, Germany, Canada, and we saw all that as well. And we saw that you guys have a lot of tools already because I go through some of the similar stuff in many of our study in abroad series. And you already have multiple tools that are there. I want to leave you with what you should be doing at the moment, which is you should be working on the essay questionnaire. You should be working on these things, the checklist that is already available for you one by one. I know some of you have already done that, so thank you so much for being on top of everything in life. But you guys should be doing all these things if you've not already done. Okay, now where can you find all the rankings, all the colleges, all the schools, all the universities, and what all the universities want right here? Okay, please go in and check it. Now, I have presented the same, the top universities in this manner today. It is the exact same, When you go and look into my top universities, you'll find the same thing. But why did we use this approach is, I'll tell you why, is because some of our people came and said, you know what, you have so many universities. I don't know which is my dream school. How do I start? So this is a good way to start. Because if you don't know where you're going, this is a good way. Now, you could do the same thing for any region in the world. It doesn't matter, as we saw. As we go towards Europe, Europe is very, very different and small, I would say, compared to the US. See, US has 94 universities of repute any day. Okay. But Europe would have, like, for example, France would have like a handful of 10, 15, etc., which are for their people, obviously. So you have to keep that in mind. You can use tools like Niche, Parchment, in order to get a sense of like who is going and who's choosing, etc. But please note that this is more of comparing colleges. It's still a tool, which is good. And you can still use like other resources that are available in order to find out more things. Okay. Yes. So I'm open for your questions at the moment, and we're going to like stop share right now and jump right into your questions. Did you guys, can you give me a thumbs up if you like this approach to deciding about programs? Okay. Because I hate it when somebody says that, oh, I went to Illinois Institute of Technology because my cousin was there. Okay, I went to University of Binghamton because my cousin was there, my friend was there, senior was there, etc. Right? We all need to have proper reasons for going. The H-1B process is just getting tougher. We don't know what the great Trump might do. Looks like he's what is going to come into power. We don't know. But whatever it is, you need to have a clear-cut idea of where you're going in life. Don't choose something randomly, because that's not going to serve your purpose. Okay, others, did you like it today? Can you give me a thumbs up or a wave or something? And of course, your questions, please, before we close. All right, thanks so much, everybody. That's nice of you. Yeah. And see, every time we try to bring a new approach to things, because it's not like the old one doesn't work. The old one doesn't work for some people. That's all. That's why we have different ways of helping you think. I know that a lot of engineers think visually, which is why I wanted to introduce these tools. Now you might ask, why didn't you give us this in March? Because if I'd given this to you in March, you would not understand the value of it. Now, because you've like gone through all the universities and still are not very sure between University of Chicago versus University of Illinois Chicago, then I can help you. Okay, a long term, like a lot of people don't know the difference between Northwestern and Northeastern University. Okay, that's okay. That is perfectly okay. Now, that is not the point of surprise. The point of surprise is people apply to both Northwestern and Northeastern thinking they are like, in the opposite ends of the same state. That is not okay. All right. And I know that there are a lot of partner universities out there in the world. Now, are these bad? Not really. Like, if you get what you want from the place, it doesn't matter where you get it. Case in point, my great Samsung charger, broke. Literally, like, I just threw it down and from a very high height, which was very stupid, and it broke. So I had to get a new one. This was in a place and we couldn't get the Samsung outlet or whatever and all. So we made do with the normal charger, and you know what? The normal charger works fine. It doesn't matter, right? So what I'm trying to say is, yes, some things can do the purpose of what you want, but are you happy with it is a question. Have you made a calculated choice of it? Have you taken what we call as a risk that is well thought of? If that is the case, go for it. If that's not the case, then you need to do a lot more research and get the data and information that is needed to support your decision right now. Because the one thing that we don't want in life is random regret. Okay. See, because we enforce this, right? Nobody ever comes and tells me that, oh, Kritika, you made me choose the wrong school. Nobody ever says that. Because we have all these checks in place, how can someone say that, right? Because the whole process is so robust. Our aim is that you should have good careers in life. In 10 years down the line, probably you'll remember this webinar or not, but you should think that I have grown and reached a place where I'm sufficiently happy with my finances, I'm happy with my family life, I'm happy personally with my personal health, mental health, and spiritual health. And I hope that you're contributing to the society some way, 10 years down the line, right? So that's what you should aim towards, and 100% will happen when you're able to give it a little bit more thought. Okay, so on that high note, I wish you all a very nice weekend. And what is the task for you? I hope that you guys are going to go to your state of your interest right now and pick the 1 or 2 universities to which you'll apply. Okay, so start doing that. And we will also be posting this particular webinar plus the spreadsheet into the same LMS portal that you saw shortly, and you'll have like another resource at your disposal. All right, so with that, thanks everybody and have a wonderful time ahead until I see you next time. Oh, and before we go, I'm so sorry. I have one last thing. We have a lot of webinars coming your way, and we have like released it and that information, and it will be put in the portal also. Just give me a second while I pull it up for your reference and show it to you. And this very last thing before I go. This is our way of ensuring that you guys are all ready and you have enough stuff. So we have a very exclusive session with one of my special friends who helps people get internships and jobs in the US. So this is done so that because, a lot of people have got, it's very hard to get internships and jobs as compared to even like 5 years ago. And I have seen this myself. So we wanted you to get aware of it and we wanted to start it early. So you're getting this particular session. Please attend if you can. We will also obviously do it. It's on 19th Friday. And then every other Friday, starting from August and all, at 6:30, I believe, we will have all the sessions. Okay, so that you can like every Friday at 6:30, you will have something or the other going on so that you can like plan for it and make sure that you're utilizing your August and September so that you're ready to apply by October or even earlier if you can, and make sure that you're reaching and all the deadlines. Okay, so we're going to release this and also put it out there so that you can also join the sessions. And with that, thanks everybody. Bye.